give each other room for growth, give each other grace, understand yourself, but understand your spouse. Remember the end goal and remember like it's okay. Y'all not gonna figure everything out that year one, year two. But if you know where you're going and there's a plan to it and a vision with a partner, like y'all can go far.
Welcome back to Wealth Within Reach with Erica Brown. And I have somebody here that I know a little bit about today. I have my beautiful, amazing, life of the party, never met a stranger anywhere in the world, husband, Lawrence Brown. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks, babe.
How you feeling?
Introduction.
You ready?
I feel good, man. I think so.
Okay, let's get into it.
I think we can do this.
We got something for the people today?
Yeah. What's the topic again? Nah, I'm just playing.
All right, so we're gonna
silly, y'all.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
This is good. It's gonna be good. All right, cool. Well, let's jump into it. So I got a few questions for you. One, we talk about this all of the time. We talk about how we moved to Atlanta. What now? 11, 12 years ago.
So 13 years.
13. Wow, it's been 13 years. Yeah, so we talk about moving to Atlanta and like how life has changed and how we would have never, ever, ever expected life to be the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that? Like, sometimes you sit and just be like, wow, what is happening with my life?
Right. We just, on faith, said, this is what we're going to do. We jumped out there. Like you said, 13 years later, look. But I knew you was different when I married you.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell
I was
me more
like,
about
man,
that.
she's different. There were several things I was looking for more so in a woman. And it's like, well, maybe that one right there isn't like everyone else. And I like things different, not the same, kind of, switch it up from time to time. And I knew like, wow, somewhat like me, but not like me.
Mm-hmm.
These personalities and dynamics, very strong, brave,
Right.
courageous, all of those things that I liked about you. I was like, oh wow, we're gonna match up well.
Yeah.
Until we talk about later on in the conversation how that kind of conflict, but we're gonna get to that part in a minute.
Yes, I love that we have lots of things that we share in commonalities that we like, but we do things, we like operate and move very differently.
Very different, yeah.
But one of the things that I want to make sure we highlight in this conversation is just to talk about how we, over the years, have learned to embrace our differences.
Yes.
And how that has shown up in business and family for us. But first, since you're talking about when we first met, I remember it like I was yesterday when we first met. Well, when I seen you.
Okay.
At the pool party.
Okay, pool party.
With your shirt off.
Shirt off.
Glistening, like
sun was
boom,
out.
Boom, 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 boom.
Sun and all that. Sun was out.
I remember it like it was yesterday, and I have a bad memory.
Oh, okay.
And I remember just looking over, and I was like, I want that.
Oh, yeah.
This was before Jesus or any of that, and I was full of lust.
Well,
I'm glad that we met, and then it was more than just lust.
Absolutely. And
but I got to be honest with the people,
Absolutely. And that's one thing about Erica. She is definitely a truth teller and gonna be honest. So if I ask a question, I like, hey,
if you ask me a question, you gotta
let me know.
Yes.
Let me know. Like my feelings will not be hurt at all.
Yes.
I remember when we used to have a little competitions, sit up competition,
back when I had
freestyle. We used to freestyle,
we had back in the day.
We had a lot of fun. When I say different, we were definitely different, and you can kind of see that competitiveness coming out amongst each other, but fun with it,
right? And more competitive, like encouraging each other kind of thing.
Yes, which brings me to another thought, but I'm gonna say that for later because it's gonna all line up.
Okay.
You'll see.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do do that. That sounds good. All right. That sounds good. All right. So I got a question I want to ask.
Mm.
So, like you mentioned, we both have very strong personalities. Nowadays, we consider that alpha man, alpha woman. I'm definitely, you would say, an alpha woman as well. And running a business and all that kind of stuff, that could be super tricky. How has that experience been for you? And like, how have you navigated that, both the good and the bad of being married to someone like me?
Yeah. Well, I think early on, one of the biggest challenge, they talk about is just the dynamics and role in the household. You have so many different dynamics of what that looks like, right? It's like the holistic approach. As spiritually, as like parents, like the dad, the husband, the friend, and all of these things. And I always felt like everything that I had to do, like, is how I lead out. How are you going to lead out? So when you have a alpha personality like Erica's, it's like, hold on, but I said this. This is how I'm gonna lead out. We should do it like this. And she's like, nah, it's gonna be done like this. And so I felt like I was falling short in my role, and I started getting upset and angry and like, oh man, like this ain't working. So what do I need to do? Do I retreat? Do I continue to push forward? Like all of those different things until we start having more conversations. Yeah. We started having more conversations and just
open,
again,
honest conversations.
Honest. That's back to the, she's going to tell it like it is. She's going to be honest. And I think for that, we had to build up trust for one another and recognize like, we're on the same team.
Right.
We're not against each other. This is not a competition. We are on the same team.
Right. And then even a part of being on the same team, us having to sit down and figure out like what I need, what you need, and like really being able to talk about how we can get our needs met with each other.
Yes.
And get into that place where we can have that safe conversation and say, okay, when I want to do this, this works best for me when you respond this way, and vice versa.
Yeah. I think just how I'm wired sometimes, it's like what I'm feeling in that moment. This is what I want right now. And then so you had these conversations like, well, what you need? I don't know. I ain't even think about what I need. I'm just thinking about what I want in this moment. Until it was later on what we began to recognize was the zone of genius. Like, how can we operate, increasing who we are as an individual, but how can we operate in our zone of genius? Like, I ain't trying to change you and you can't change me.
Right.
And I think there was
a work together to amplify our strengths.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that we were a power duo. We knew that like we were passionate.
Yeah.
We love people, very compassionate, very giving, like
we're
very
like
smart.
Two extroverts, which is very uncommon for two extroverts to be married to each other.
So the potential was always there. It was just like, if it's there, then why we can't?
Right.
What's the stalemate?
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I love that. Okay, so you mentioned being a power duo, but still having tons of different, button heads and things, having to go through things. What was one of like the biggest head-butting scenarios you can think of that comes to mind?
Well, we don't have many. That's a good thing. Psych. No,
yeah.
No, I got something for you. I remember
I can count 10. Go ahead.
Listen, I remember the first time we moved. Okay, so we moved, got to Atlanta in 2010. This is our first, big purchase, you would say?
Are you talking about when you went and bought a car and I said no, not to buy the car?
Yes.
Whew.
Let's talk about it. So we went to the dealership, like, listen, I've been doing my research, looking at different vehicles. We got two boys at the time and we were in a Volvo? Yeah, we were in a black.
We were in a Volvo, we were in a van. I think we were
black
in a van.
Volvo. Okay. No, we hadn't had the van yet. Okay. We was in that black
this is how we got
Volvo, because that's how we got to, boys
Yes.
getting big, extending our family. So I was like, we're gonna get this SUV,
This nice little SUV.
nice luxury,
We were
SUV,
also in
3
the,
rows, right?
yes, and we were also in the process of saving to buy our first house
Yeah,
too. So, and
yeah.
this is kind
I
of what
didn't get
happens
that part.
often too.
Yeah, I didn't get that part.
Yeah,
So we go to the dealership. Let's look at it. It's
Mhm.
nice. All the bells and whistles loaded. It's gonna last. And like I had talked to dude, like we're gonna get it for this price. He gonna give us X amount of dollars. And she was like, we'll talk about it later. I'm like, no, but we right here. Like, let's do this. So we get in the car and she like, yeah, nah, we ain't gonna.
It's too much.
It's
or
too
it was
much.
something. It didn't make sense financially.
Yeah. I was like, but I did all this work. And we gonna make it work. So she goes to sleep. I go back to the dealership. I come back. Surprise!
And I was like,
Rolled up in the car. And she was like, no, you didn't. I'm so pissed right now. Why? We don't have that car. We in this car. You ain't have to sit there and sign all the paperwork and do this and that.
Right.
And that was just different ways that we began to understanding how we just dealt with things.
In that situation where like
Yeah.
you wanted this car because this is what you want at the time.
In that moment.
In the
absolutely.
moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, this financially doesn't like fully make sense for us because we're going to buy a house, all that. How did you be okay with me stepping in and being like, no, this isn't the right thing, and us collaborating on that?
I think for us, that was 2011, right? So we had only been married, what, 4 years or so? Because we got married in 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't mind I think it's the word no. I really do think it's the word no. Like, talk to me. Help me understand. Don't just tell me no.
Right.
Remember, I'm the lead.
Right.
Don't just tell me no, but
Right.
let's talk through this.
Right.
And I think what we were saying earlier, that's one of the biggest things, just trusting each other, communicating and the understanding of needs versus wants.
Right.
I know now that was a very impulsive, man, that was so impulsive.
That was a want versus
and
need.
I could be unpredictable at times, but that probably wasn't a good idea.
Right.
It's definitely one I learned from.
So one of the things that I've learned now after being married almost 16 years and going through all the things that we've been through, which is a lot, for him to still feel respected and still be heard, and but really vice versa, both of us as alpha people, neither one of us honestly like to hear no. We want to have a conversation and we want to have options. I'm very much like an options girl. Like
that part.
I never want someone to tell me like no. I want someone to provide me options. And so one of the things that has helped both of us is to talk to one another in that way, so that we can give each other an opportunity to have a say and then come to a conclusion with what we want to decide on. So we're talking about business, right? Because some of the a part of this is doing business with your boo.
I already know where you're going with it. Come on, let's go.
I first started real estate. I was definitely doing it like kind of by myself on the side, and then Lawrence was super supportive in the background, helping out, and he had his own things that he was doing and working on. And then now we're in the season where we actually work together in business. But even that process and that journey of working together, we had to test some things along the way to get to a place where it's like, okay, I can respect my role in business and I can respect his role in business.
Yeah.
And one of the things we figured out, so we have a landscaping company that we started about 4 years ago.
Right.
And I used to be way more involved with the landscaping company when we first started. I'm not anymore, but there was a time where I was way more involved. And Lawrence is still very involved in it. And there was a time where I was helping to run the marketing of the landscaping company, this like sales and marketing. And Lawrence you were thinking about working in the marketing too.
Right. I remember
and
that.
So a part of that dynamic of us trying to work together was him having to report to me to do different things. Yeah. And how long did that last?
What? 2-3 months.
I don't even know that. It may have.
It was like, about 2 or 3 months.
Okay, but it didn't work out at all.
Nah, it didn't.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I
It was not
remember. I
good. I was like, okay, this ain't working.
remember.
We need to just find somebody
Yeah.
else to do it.
Yeah. We were butting heads a lot.
Yeah.
We
Talk
really
about
were.
that. Do
And it
you
was
remember?
like, she has her way of doing things. I have my way of doing things. I was never that guy that took a lot of time to study for a test. So timeline, dates, and all that. Nah, I just need to get it done. And she, hey, you need to do this
You got to
here,
schedule it this
and
time. You got
And
to do
I'm like,
this. You got to use the
scheduling.
software.
Yeah. So nah, listen, I'm gonna put this out, then I'm gonna go back on the field. Like, we gotta keep this thing moving. I'm not about to stress about all the extra
Right.
stuff. So,
Right.
but I think for me, learning those things have definitely helped, like just how we operate and how we move now,
Yeah.
which brought me back when I was saying in the beginning, I'm gonna go back to that. One thing that I realized of the things that we have in common, we're both coaches. We really are
Yeah.
both coaches, with Erica and how she coaches and teaches people and, working with people. And, same thing with me. Like in college, I was a coach, I was in training and getting down here, college training, managing people in the landscaping business that we have. So we're oftentimes coaching and working with people. So when you get instructions on something that, it's like, nah, I don't want to do it this way. We can reach the same goal and be different in how we do it.
Right.
And that's what we had to,
that's what we had to realize. And that shows up often because he'll like come to me and like ask me to do something. And I'll be like, and depending on what I have going on, I'm like, I'm not your assistant. I got an assistant. And then he'll come to me and he'll ask me to do something. And I was like, I'm not your, and he'll be like,
no,
I'm not your assistant.
I don't work for you.
Get your assistant to do it.
Yeah.
And so
I don't work
that's
for
the
you.
hard part about being coaches. But one of the things that I see with couples that I think we do a really good job at, that we've learned over time through lots of trial and error. If something needs to be done that's like not my zone of genius, not like my strength, not your strength, instead of us like just doing it ourselves, even though it's not our strengths, we will just delegate it.
Yeah.
And it was like, we're not gonna stress about it. We just gonna let somebody else do it. Okay, guys, did you hear the news? I am giving away a fully turnkey house. Yes, you heard that correct. I am giving away a fully renovated house at the Owning It and Living It experience. You gotta be in the room though to win the house. It is November 1st through 3rd at the Intercontinental Hotel in Buckhead. Go to experience.owningitandlivingit.com to grab your ticket today before the prices go up. I'll see you in November. Kids used to go to Texas every summer for a few weeks. And a few years ago, they went to Texas for a couple weeks and they were gone. And we were like, man, this is so nice. Mind you, we have had kids since we got married. We had kids before we got married. So we've always had kids. So we were like, man, this is so nice. Like we have so much more energy for each other. And so we were talking, we were like, what can we do to keep this going even when they're there? And so we actually sat down and we were like, okay, what are the things that we're doing that like literally drain us while our kids are here? If it's worth it to us, we could delegate that like completely to someone else, and that gives us more time to have more energy for ourselves. Yeah. And one of the things that we recognized was driving the kids around to all of their stuff, to all their practices, like just the car ride stuff. It's just like, it was draining for us.
Yeah, it's a job in itself. Yeah, so we hired someone and, they were actually looking for a job anyway. And
it's
they're
like part-time, 5 to 10 hours a week.
To be able to take the boys where they need to go or get things sent to us, delivered, whatever that we needed. And it was so helpful. And one of the things that I realized, even about what she just said, we would always say, what is the end goal? Yeah. We had to reverse engineer. This is what we need to do in the now to get to where we're going in the future. Right. So it's like the setup. So in the past, this to now. I'm working out today to now you get this little relaxed, chill LB because it's like, nah, there's a vision. There's like, I got this. Yeah. And sometimes I got to tell Erica, hey, listen, this is what it is right now. But remember, this is where we're going and vice versa. And that just helps us to keep the main thing.
The main
The main
thing.
thing.
And neither one of us had this, healthy image of a marriage growing
Yeah,
up.
no.
So we've had to learn that on our own. And, we've been through a lot of very difficult stuff
Mhm.
and have been on a healing journey these
Yeah,
last
yeah.
16 years.
Yeah, on our own, yes, as it relate to her and I, but
Mhm. With a
with
village.
support.
Yeah.
But we definitely did have support. And that's one of the
Yes.
unique things because listen, I can't tell you how many people had to talk me off a ledge in some situations. And I'm,
Yes,
she
same.
can say the same.
Mhm.
So that same team, and that was my thing, like success, it's cool. Yeah, I like it, but I like you. I like you
I
too,
like you
babe.
too.
Sometimes I need you here. Like what you need,
Right.
I need you here.
Right. Same.
Because I'm a, harmony, connection. I gotta feel, I gotta touch.
Mhm.
When you way over there and it's like, man, something missing.
Mhm.
I can be busy and occupied, but I don't have my only. And for her, it's like, oh, I'm grinding. I gotta get it. Well, that get it and grind ain't more important than us in this moment.
Right.
So with that, we begin to realize how to balance and merge
together.
those dynamics and just have fun and be able to communicate what those needs are. So again, back to the supportive groups have been able to sit and hear and mediate and do things together and just see how other couples. Yeah.
What do you say? What's the quote you say all the time? You can't heal what you don't reveal.
Yeah, you can't heal what you don't reveal.
Yeah.
Listen, that may be another whole episode, but I'm gonna touch on it a little bit. So, like we said before, when we didn't know how to coexist and operate together, I'd be like, hey, you do you. Y'all remember that term? They canceled that term yet? They still do. Hey, do you live your best life? Live your life. What it actually was is not being able to communicate the needs. Yeah, it definitely is. Because I don't want you to just do you. I want you to let's do
we
us.
Want to do we.
We want to do we and us.
Yes.
And so it never was a thing about feeling insecure or allowing her to walk in her genius, in her zone. It's just communicating because for me, I'm gonna tell, look, I'm a man. I'm gonna be all right. Like I got, boy, we could go do this. I can hit up there. I could stay busy. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like to stay in one place. Right. However, in this journey and in this walk, like, what is the best way that I can support her? And sometimes I have to be Erica Blindside because she may not, realize. I think what was it, a month or two ago, she worked 4 or 5 conferences in a row. And sometimes when she come home, giving her that space to breathe and then saying, hey, like maybe she didn't realize the rate or the all the things you had involved. So let's go for a walk. Let's do this. Let's do those things. Like, yeah, that was really good. Yeah, I could put the laptop away for a second. Okay, this email can wait. Just reminding her of those things. But it's experience life, but it's love. It's
and that's definitely one thing I feel like I've learned from our relationship, to experience the joy and abundance in life. Mm-hmm. And not just because as a high achiever, I just like to achieve and so you definitely have taught me to enjoy the adventures of life.
Yeah. With risk.
Yes. And one of the things that you said that I definitely want to touch on is that unconsciously, I was operating in this place of shrinking myself because I thought that if I existed as my full self, that it would make you feel small. Yeah. And it wasn't really until this year where I had a friend that was like, girl, I don't think Lauren's I don't think he's trying to compete with you. I think he's fully good with where he is. And I was like, you know what? He's never verbally told me that I needed to do this or whatever. And then when I had a conversation with you, I was like, are like, what does success look like to you? Are you and you said, I don't want nothing to do with all the things that you're doing and going to all these retreats, doing all this. He's like, that's your level of success, and I
Yeah.
support that. So that you
Yeah.
want to talk more about that? That was really
Yeah.
that was affirming
Nah,
for me
nah.
to just like
Absolutely.
fully step into who I am and not feel like I'm like making you feel small.
Yeah, and I think that goes again with the dynamics of our personalities, just understanding like, oh,
Right.
she's not trying to control me and I'm not trying to control her. It's
Right.
kind of like, I'll give you a prime example. I'm really involved in fitness. Well, back in the days, I do a
Still
little, I
involved.
do about
Yeah,
two to
good,
three
yeah.
times, a good 2 to 3 times a week. And she'll be like, Lawrence, okay, this help me do this, help me do that, all these things. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. That's man, let's go. So I'm telling her, she's like, hold on, I don't want to do that. Nah, that don't feel. What you mean? I'm offended. Like, this is what I do. Why
Right.
don't you want to, do this? So one thing that we learned, so I went and found one of the dopest gyms in Atlanta, Metabolics. I mean, it was something that was good for us because I don't like doing all that cardio stuff. I'm in there old school, get straight to the point. So this is gonna like challenge you, but also for Erica too. And now she like, hey, we do them
I wake you up to
5:30
go.
work. Let's go. I'm like, okay. Well, I can't double down on what I said. So learning like to work together because
Right.
guess what? At the end of the day, there's an end goal.
Right.
Health is wealth. What they say, whatever, however you want to
Our
verbal
legacy,
that,
our family,
or
yep.
yeah. So that's where I play a role in. Like we have to begin to look at like how can I support her? How can I be a truth teller without being prideful or in my own stubbornness of feeling like I have to control the narrative or vice versa for her and, being able to communicate. And I think
Right.
that's what we've been able to do the past couple of years.
Yeah.
That's been some of our huge growth points.
Yeah, I agree. You talked a lot about us working on our communication,
Right.
marriage counseling,
Yeah.
talking with friends together
Friends,
over the
all
last
those things,
16
yeah.
years. Can you give me an example of, so say like we're in this place, like recently I hosted like 5 live events.
Mhm.
And then, when I come home, I'm like, trying to come down from
Decompress.
all that.
That may take another 2 days.
Yes. And even though, you were around
Yeah.
for some of them, I'm still working,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what does it look like for you to like communicate that need? Like, hey, I want to spend
Yeah.
time with my wife.
Yeah. Before you even say that, like I got an example. So, it's a kudos to you. Well, actually a kudos to both of us because we
Mhm.
understand and recognize how
Each
this
other.
thing works. So you just mentioned she does this 5-day live event or the retreat situation.
5 retreats or live
And
events. Yeah.
one of our friend groups of marital couples, that was like, hey, let's hang out Friday. Are y'all down? And Erica like, yeah, I could do Friday. Friday would be good. And I responded, Erica's not gonna do Friday. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. She gonna come back from her retreat. She gonna be like, I can't talk no more. I can't do no more people. I'm tired.
For a
And
whole
she ain't
day.
gonna be able to do it. And she was like, nah, don't speak for me. Like, no, I am down. So I appreciate you trying to come in and, do that and have that and be that, but also the wisdom of learning through experience
Mm.
was like, thinking ahead. No, I want Erica to have that time, to have that day to decompress or do whatever she needs to do. And on the back end, we'll spend time
Yeah.
and be able to, do what we need to do. And one thing that was helpful for us was we began to doing things that would that ran together, that mesh well
Yeah.
with our everyday lives. For example, working out at the gym
At
was
the same
really
gym together.
really
And our
good.
kids are older too,
Yeah.
so we can go to the gym together. I know that may
Yes.
be hard for some people who
Yeah.
have children, but us working out together has helped
Yeah.
to have that time with just like connect with just check in with just
Yeah.
you and I.
Cause I ain't gotta tell her, hey, this, that many times, whatever. We didn't already paid. They gonna tell us what we need, and we ain't
They
by
take out
wasting. We
$200 a
ain't,
month. That gym is not cheap.
yeah, we ain't by wasting no
No money.
money.
No.
So it's an opportunity to hold each other accountable, and even after we work out, it's on the belt line. We go on a walk. Like, let's check in.
How you doing? How you doing?
How
you
your week?
feeling?
What you have? What you doing with the boys? Like,
You know.
oh, what you doing? Who you?
How's your relationship with the Lord?
Lord,
or,
spiritual,
whatever
whatever. Yes. One of the things that I learned in individual counseling was this saying, like, are you really okay? You know what I'm saying? Somebody could be like, hey, you good? How you doing? Yeah, I'm good. But are you really okay? And you're like, oh, am I really? Hold on, let me process that.
Yeah.
So this gives us time to actually process and not dump load how we feeling or what's been what, because we're able to consciously like think through those things, think through our needs versus maybe even some things that we want. That alone was some ways that it strengthened our growth in our communication.
Yeah. And then sometimes like during those times we may share something that's like really hard with each other. Like I may say, hey babe, I feel like I'm feeling, this is just an example. I may say, I'm feeling a little like, low or unappreciated. I need some more affirmation.
Yeah.
Someone can easily like just get defensive, like, what you mean I'm not affirming you? Or they could be like, okay, well, tell me more about that. Like, why, like, how can I affirm you or whatever?
Yeah.
And so one thing we do when because we are like unlearning bad habits and relearning new habits, we will say, okay, let's reset if we just need to start over. If like we got defensive or like I kind of snapped back at whatever he said or whatever the situation was, and we know, how you say something, you like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that. Instead of just like not saying nothing and then being mad the whole day, we just go to each other and we just say, hey, can we just reset real quick? And to us, that means like, we just gonna start over and we just gonna forgive. And then we're gonna talk about it over. Like we're gonna try to restart the conversation, talk about it over. We don't just forgive and just like move on. Like we forgive and then we like reset the conversation to start working on it in a different way. And that's been really helpful.
Yeah. So not just even walking in forgiveness and, and repenting and, all of those things, but even like recognizing like, like humility, like I messed up, or even being okay with, hey, I didn't like what I heard when you said, did you mean it this way? Like, let's talk a little bit more about that. And then what that does is it allows us to give us time and give grace to the situation instead of just shutting down or, causing a bigger problem.
May have people who are in various phases where they're married or they're not married, they're dating, and they're thinking about doing business with their significant other.
Yeah.
Would you do it all over again? And then also, if yes or no, and then what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about doing business with their boo?
Well, absolutely. I would definitely do it all over again.
You're not saying that because I'm staring at you?
No. I mean, listen, that goes back to the end goal, right? You got to crawl before you walk.
That's fine.
So it was something that we definitely were learning, and we love challenges.
Yeah.
You and I, we really love challenges. So this challenge to help us in our business journey, So the biggest thing, that advice that I would give is just give each other room for growth, give each other grace, understand yourself, but understand your spouse. Remember the end goal and remember like, it's okay. Y'all not gonna figure everything out that year 1, year 2. But if you know where you're going and there's a plan to it and a vision with a partner, like y'all can go far.
Yeah, you can work together to make it happen.
Yeah, you can work together. And that has been, our story, and stories may look different. But,
yes, and that's okay.
It has helped us tremendously.
And I would say, yes, I would do it all over again. I actually think that us working together in business has made our relationship stronger.
Yeah.
Not that, two people can do two different things and be successful. I just think for us, it actually helped our relationship with us working together because we were able to just spend more time together in the process. But one advice I would give to someone who is thinking about potentially doing business with their boo or significant other is to always continue to nourish your relationship, your friendship above anything. Your friendship that you have with one another is going to carry you and sustain you and help you to keep going during the really, really hard times.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And I think because we started out as friends, through all the things that we've been through, maybe I'll write a book one day and tell y'all a little bit. He's like, woo. Then that it would really help to be, beyond, of course, your relationship with God. Your friendship really helps to continue to grow your relationship as you go through these various seasons of six-pack to thick chicks, You still
and
fine. All the above.
Still
Thank
fine,
you.
babe.
Thank you.
This is your partner. This is your friend. Like,
not your enemy.
That was our thing.
Not your, I'll be like, Lawrence, I'm not your enemy.
Yeah, you're not the enemy. Like, I'm your friend. It's okay to remind each other every now and again, because I tell you, listen.
Yes, because, man, Satan be in your ear.
Be
like,
busy.
Man, he just trying to control you.
Yep.
He just trying to hold you down.
Those
be
sound
like,
bites.
Ain't what he trying to do.
And then you start remembering, well, 2 days ago, she did say those sound bites would get you every time.
Yeah.
So communicate well.
Work on your communication.
Yes, work on your communication so you can communicate well. Get you a nice friend group, support group, whatever. Self, prayer, like wake up and just really nurturing your soul, those things to help, process the other parts of your life. So the holistic approach. What was that you said?
Work on your friendship.
Work on your friendship with one another. And there's so many more. Erica said she was going to write a book later. So y'all just, but no, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't claim to know everything. We are still figuring a lot of this out. We want y'all to win. We want y'all to thrive. We want y'all to experience love and abundance and success and wealth so that you can live your life to the fullest of whatever God's calling you to do. So.
Yeah, because we don't put success in front of our marriage or all that is what it is, but that ain't what we do.
Right.
So if y'all are like, oh, we got to reach that level of, well, what does that even look like? What does that mean? And you have to be able to understand what does that mean for y'all, because success may look different from your spouse and how you see it and how she see it, but understanding what that looks like in terms of walking in your genius.
Yep. And together as a family.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. I'll see you on the next episode of Wealth Within Reach. See you next time.
See you.